Hang on a minute, you old fuckers. Un momento, por favor. Why does that need to be there? Hang on. God damn it, Maverick. Do I need that on the screen? Probably not. Let's move that over. I don't even think I need that. What the fuck are you talking about, Jaffy? Boom! Boom! Welcome to Gabbing Games for Friday, December 3rd. It's good to see you. We have a lot to chat about today. Let me give you a quick heads up. You can call in on the Discord. You can call in on the red phone. I'll keep the red phone up for now on live shows, but I don't know. We'll see if that lasts. But the Discord you can always call in on if you want to talk about this, the news of the day, the video game news of the day. So this is our kind of shoot the shit video game stream format. This is not a proper podcast, so, fuck you, Mr. K. You're going straight to hell. First of all, nothing's wrong with that. He said, let me show you. Mr. K says we got our highfalutin system set up. I don't know why your picture's not appearing there. He says, you're looking mighty gay there. Well, okay, I'm not a gay man, but let's assume I was. So what? I'd be the gayest gay man in the world. The lady, one of the nanny ladies who raised us, this was back in the 70s, so, things were not as kind and sensitive. So she would say, I think that guy's gay. I think he's good and gay. The funniest thing is you were good and gay. It wasn't just gay. But these days, it's wonderful. You can be gay, straight, cis, nonsense. It doesn't matter. The young generation coming up is not going to give a fuck. They already don't give a fuck. It's like, be whatever you want. Change it every fucking day. You know where this comes from? It comes from video games. It comes from kids growing up with the ability. You know who you can blame? You can blame Gary Gygax. Not that I would blame anyone. I think it's wonderful. But if you want to blame someone, blame Gary Gygax, the co-creator of Dungeons & Dragons, because he's the guy who got it in people's heads. Hey, you know what you can do, pals? You can roll your own characters. You can create, is it a girl, a boy, an elf, a this, a that? And then that got into computers, and then that got into video games. And the kids coming up today, they're used to being able to go in and customize their shit. And then that's just what they're used to. So, of course, they're coming up in real life. IRL is what the kids say, by the way. IRL in a way that allows them to, feel that why would I not be able to do that? Rob the Mod says, can you make a shirt that says I'm good and gay? I'll make it just for you, sir. Absolutely. It'll be a one item. Weensy Rant says, did I watch the Iron Bowl? I did watch the Iron Bowl. I didn't watch all of it. I was kind of skipping around, but my God, if you don't, I appreciate that a lot of you guys aren't into football. A lot of you girls aren't into football, but let me tell you something. That was a motherfucking game that went in to 4 overtimes. 4 overtimes. Think about that nonsense. Crazy shit, man. So yes, we are going to talk about, Kyle says, good and gay. G&G, a good and gay stream. That's right. Sector says, Sony GamePass is good and gay. Look. We are going to talk, of course, about the Sony news that they're dropping today, the Gavin and Gay. That's right. We're going to talk about the Sony news today, about their what's the thing called? The Game Pass competition. Maybe it's competition. And then we're going to talk about Geoff Keighley and what he's doing with Activision at the Game Awards. There's actually a lot of surprisingly interesting news to chat about today, but the biggest piece of news is coming from our own Mike Warner, who says, I'm great and gay. Good for you, Mike. It's always good to be great and gay and enjoy that. Yo, Jaffe, are you going to try the new game Icarus? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Oh my God! I have to show you guys something really quick though before we get into the news. I have to show you a couple of things real quick. Look at this. This is gonna take a second. I'm sorry, I wasn't. Myri. Oh, that's a horrible Jimmy Stewart. Oh, Myri. I haven't done him in a long time. Oh, Myri. No, that's horrible. That's terrible. Oh, yeah. Oh. Well, why do we need so many rotten kids? That's still not very good. I want to show you something really quick though. Hang on. I'll get that super chat in just a second, sir. Give me one moment. I appreciate it. First super chat of the day. How's that working out for you? Pretty goddamn good if you ask me. Hang on. Twitter.com. I just thought this was pretty fucking cool. Oh no. I went to Twitter to get this, and people talking about the school shooting, and oh my goodness gracious, when will it end? Fucking morons, man. Okay, check this out. This is a guy. It's running an ad right now, and I don't want you to see the ad because I don't know. Because I don't know what the rights are to stream the ads. So just give me 1 second. Okay. Come on. It's running an ad for this thing called Alex Winter, some show about some spy kid, Alex Ryder. I don't know what the fuck it is. Okay, so I'm on my Twitter, and I see this thing that says, I'm painting David Jaffe. I'm like, what the fuck? There's a guy on Twitter who literally is painting me right now. I don't understand it. But that's pretty good. I'm going to send him a message. I'm going to say, I want to get this shit off the screen. I don't need this anymore. Let me get rid of that. Look at that. He's painting me. Goodness gracious. God damn it, gracious. That's pretty good. I would have sex with that guy. Let's see what he says. Yeah. This is a guy named P. Diddle. Let's see.
I mean, he doesn't say anything outlandish. He's just saying reasonable things, like gamers are pretty whack sometimes.
Isn't that cool though? It's pretty
funny,
good
though, because I still say he kind of fostered this generation, right? I really believe that artists have a responsibility with what they create because it is affecting children. I don't care what.
Looks like Orson Welles.
Studies say. I'm not saying real world violence is caused by video games, but definitely the attitudes we have towards each other is kind of.
I'm just gonna watch him paint me all day. This is nice,
culture, right?
Yeah. Jarvie Rock says so. He's painting you like one of his French girls. That's right. That's exactly right. Let me write that. Let me write that.
Boys. I mean. And it turns out it shouldn't be that way. I gotta come up with some examples. Maybe I'll put it in like a video. I gotta make a video because I have like a few months of.
We're gonna start the show. I promise. I just want to see this.
Adobe. I'm done with Adobe Photoshop. I'm moving on to what is it, Amanda? Affinity.
How does he even? Why is he even choosing to paint me?
Oh, no,
but he doesn't know that Gabbin' and Games is the show we're doing.
I'll be doing.
I don't understand. Did he just find my face? There's Kaiden. There you go. Kaiden's gonna start typing shit. We really are gonna do a show today. I swear to God. We are. But that's pretty good though.
It looks pretty much the same as Photoshop. So
he's not bad. He's not bad.
Super skeptical.
What in the Bob Ross? That's right, Matt.
It's not like I use a lot of features on Photoshop anyways. Just give me a brush, and a way to kind of blend it out.
Yeah, I need a pipe. Yeah, give him the pipe. Yeah.
Like traditional looks. I don't think digital should look like traditional. I really get ticked off when it does. When I get fooled, like Procreate, I'm just hating because I don't have an iPad.
Okay, I should probably get to the show, right? Okay, I have to pull myself away from this.
iPad, whatever, Pro, Mini, I don't know what it is.
I'm the champion of GamePass. There you go.
Digitally all the time.
That's cool, man. I'm attractive in that picture. Fuck me. I look pretty good. I look much better. Oh, who is that? That's a video. That looks like somebody I've seen before. I would absolutely have sex with myself in this picture.
So I'm pulling in the shadow.
Yeah, Bacon Magma. Yeah, Bacon Magma should call in. All right, let me get rid of this. I gotta focus.
Bright, so I'm gonna knock it.
All right, let's do our show. We have our own show to do. It's not all about the guy who's painting. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have some conversation. We're gonna get to the Sony stuff, but let me just tell you. Okay, let me address this because you've been putting it on the screen like since before the stream started. Cinematic passages. needs to paint welfare pass shill. I'm very curious about that. Let's just jump right into that briefly and talk about that. So you're not the only person. I mean, it's not pervasive, but there are people who assign the Game Pass idea where they say things like, oh, Game Pass is, yeah, if you don't have any money. And I'm like, what? I mean, is buying video games some kind of flex that the kids do? Right? It's like, I have plenty of money, but I still love Game Pass. Are you telling me, maybe one of the reasons I have a decent amount of money in the bank is because I'm not a fucking moron with it. You're telling me cinematic passages that your preference would be, like, for example, I started playing, I played this game last night on Game Pass for 15 minutes. I didn't really care for it very much. I forget what it was. It was like Generation Zero or something, okay? You're telling me that the thing someone does who has cash ducats, who's not on welfare, is they say, no, I'm going to go out and spend $60, $50, $40, $70, $70 on a game. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. Fuck it, I don't care. I mean, I don't understand. I don't fucking understand. That is not, that may be the reason people like me have money in the bank, because we're not fucking idiots. But yeah, if you want to go out cinematic passages and buy all of your shit, I just don't understand why you would do that. But sure, Realism says, is that a criticism some are trying to use? I have seen this criticism from time to time where people kind of, like, maybe every time this Game Pass thing comes up, it's like, oh, yeah, if you don't have any money, sure, it's good if you're poor. And I'm like, what? Okay, so only poor people have Netflix and HBO Max, you fucking moron. Okay. Fupy says, I commend Microsoft on releasing a $300 console, which is the S, with the huge Game Pass selection during the pandemic. That's like attacking Mother Teresa or the Salvation Army. Well, they didn't do it out of the goodness of their heart, although there are a lot of people who say Mother Teresa and the Salvation Army have issues of their own. But certainly that S is a hell of a Christmas gift if you're looking to get into it. So, okay. But fuck it. This is what people want to talk about. We'll talk about it first. Let's talk. We'll get to the other stories later. Let's talk about this. I don't need to give you guys much of the story. Everybody knows what's going on. But if you happen to be late to the party, now he's talking to you on stream. Rob the mod. Wait a minute. Who's talking to me on stream? I don't understand. Doug says, even if someone is using Game Pass as a cheap way to play, good for them. That's right. They can use the additional cash to invest. Absolutely. Poor shaming is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever heard of. I grew up without tons of money, but you know, I'll tell you what. This is a little song from Coal Miner's Daughter. I was born a coal miner's daughter in a hill back in Butcher Holler. Now here's the line you need to learn. We was poor, but we had love. That's the one thing my daddy made sure of. He shoveled coal to make a poor man's dollar. The idea of someone not having money or a lot of money being, and I got to say, I have friends, my kids have friends who don't have a lot of money, and they're just like, oh yeah, we're super poor. And there's no shame in it. And I think that's just a wonderful thing the new generation is fucking doing. I think it's ridiculous to act like having money makes you a better person. Fuck off. Alaj says, Jaffe, would you use the painting as a profile pic? His look works like it's a decent amount. Yeah, I would absolutely, if he would allow me, if I could give him some ducats, absolutely. The protagonist of your song is definitely not gay. The protagonist of that song is Loretta Lynn, the famous female country singer. What are you talking about? Okay, listen. Let's get into this story though, because I mean, enough tomfoolery. Little Jason Schreier of the Connecticut Schreiers puts a story out. He says, "Hey, Jaffe was right. Not that I'm some kind of prophet. Everybody knows that. So I mean, you got to be the worst kind of Sony fanboy if you're walking around thinking that Sony wasn't planning on doing a Game Pass competitor, right? I'm not. And we'll talk about how much of a Game Pass competitor this is. So some people have been writing me like, Jaffe, you were right. I'm like, yeah, I was right and anybody was right about it. Of course, they have to compete, right? This is a service, says Jason Schreier. There's some documents that got leaked to him or his crew. It's codenamed Spartacus, which will not be the name. Just like I remember the first PSP was called Orpheus and shit, whatever. Here's the high concept. It's going to merge PS Plus and PS Now into a singular service. You won't be able to only get PS Plus or PS Now. I don't know if that means the price is going up, but the basic version of this is that you get PS Plus and PS Now. Let me tell you, there's 3 tiers, right? Where did it go? Okay, the first tier is just PS Plus. Sorry, the second would be PS4 and PS5 games. I'm assuming that PS Now is just rolled into it. So whichever one of these tiers you get, you're streaming. Okay, so the first tier is PS Plus benefits. The second is PS4 and PS5 games. I don't know how they're defining what. I don't know how they're defining what PlayStation Plus benefits are if they're not including the games that already come with PS Plus. So that's a little confusing, but let's assume what it means is it's all of those free games that you're getting already for PS Plus, and it's the streaming. Then the second tier offers a large catalog of PS4 games and eventually PlayStation 5 games. The most expensive tier adds extended demos, game streaming. Okay, you can only stream in the 5th tier. There you go. Well, there's the answer. I should have read this earlier. And a library of classic PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games, right? So there's 3 tiers, and we're going to talk about that. Let me get to some of these super chats that came in really quickly because I don't want to forget them, and I very, very much appreciate them. The first one that we got in today was from our good friend. Where did it go? Come on now. You guys are chatting up a storm, which I like to see. But let me get in Dylan and the details. Okay, so Dylan, thank you for the super chat. Look at that little shiny sticker down there. Super chat, yeah. Let's calm down a little bit. What is your take on what's happening with It Takes Two and Take Two? That is a story we will be talking about today. I will not get to it now. I don't want to derail the conversation, but thank you for the super chat, and I will absolutely get to that. We'll do it right after we finish talking about the Spartacus, right? Heath Nation is back in our world. Thank you, Heath Nation. We love to see you here. Thank you for the super chat. He says he wants his Bearcats to win tomorrow. I don't know who the Bearcats are. Maybe that's a little rinky-dink team. I only focus on Auburn football, but go Bearcats, I guess. Seriously, Heath Nation, welcome back, buddy, and thank you for the super chat. And then we have our goodest friend. I'm hyper, fellas. I'm hyper. I don't know what to tell you. Where did it go? Hang on. I'm getting there. Boom. There we go. Carl B. Man says, hey, thank you for the super chat, Carl. He says, I don't use GamePass because the physical games do 1 month. Wait, what? He says, don't use GamePass because the physical games do 1 month, didn't pay. It couldn't use Gear of War 1. Buddy, you just blew $5 to write something that makes less sense than when Borat is talking. I'm going to read it again because you paid for it. You know I love you, sir, but what the fuck are you talking about? He says, Carl B. Man says, don't use Game Pass because the physical games do 1 month. Didn't pay it. Couldn't use Gear of War 1. Okay. Well, thanks for that illuminating chat, buddy. Gravedoll has been with us for 6 months. Goddamn, sir. Thank you, buddy. He's also a great goddamn Halo player, too, if you need to know. The 4th tier, you get a sleepover with Shuhei and you braid each other's hair, says Gravedoll. Why isn't that showing up? It should be. That's fantastic. I love that. It's not a new member. He's been here 6 months. Thanks, buddy. I would go to that sleepover. I would absolutely go to that sleepover. Okay, so let us discuss this. Let's focus, shall we? Okay, first off, I'm going to take these off. If you guys hear the red phone ringing, hit me up because I don't like wearing them if I'm too loud. So, okay, let's talk about this. Spartacus. Nothing in here. So Sony hasn't even announced this. This is leaked shit. I believe the press is saying Right, I'm looking. It says, according to people familiar with Sony's plans and documents reviewed by Bloomberg. So what we don't know, if you read the opening sentence, let me read you the sentence. Sony Group Corp's PlayStation division is planning a new subscription service to compete with rival Microsoft Corp's popular Xbox Game Pass, according to people familiar with plans and documents. What we don't know is Bloomberg reading into that and suggesting Sony's motive, which is to this service, Spartacus, is designed to compete with Game Pass, or are they simply reporting on this new service and the documents actually say this is a Game Pass competitor? That we don't know, because what I will tell you is the red phone's ringing. Are you fucking with? You're fucking with me. I'm going to turn off the red phone for today. I'm turning off the red phone of today because I got to focus on this. I'll figure it out later. I hope what's happening? Rathy's talking to me. Hang on. We're talking about that. Rathy. So what's interesting to me is, look, this is not, if all we do is go off of this article, this is absolutely not a Game Pass killer. So whether or not that's good or bad has to do with what Sony's intention is. Sony may be like, yeah, Jaffe, that's not what this is. We don't really give a fuck about that right now. And in that case, great. No harm, no foul. But if you look at this and you think this is a Game Pass competitor, and it might be, but there's data missing from the Bloomberg reporting, right? The only way, the number of people that really give a fuck about, the number of people who only give a fuck about backwards compatibility is very small, right? Game Pass is not successful because, you can go back and play Banjo-Kazooie from Xbox 360. That's nice. Can't hurt. But it's successful because you get brand new games. You get third-party games, indie games. Literally, if you go to Xbox Game Pass today, like it used to be, I had this thing I did where every week I would log into Game Pass and I'd get excited because if you don't have Game Pass, what happens, at least on the PC client, is they show you the latest games, like box art, right? And then what would happen is if they updated it, suddenly those boxes would go gray and you go, oh shit, something new's coming, and pop, 6, 7, 4 games pop in. Well, that's happening daily right now. Like almost every day I log into Game Pass, there's some new fucking thing, right? And then obviously there's the 23, 24, 25 studios that are, some of them making more than one game, that will be dropping a la Forza, Halo, day one onto Game Pass. So unless Sony is going to say, whether we're dropping the big bangers or we're going to start taking some of our studios, I think last I heard there were 25 games in development, first party at Sony. We're going to start taking some of those, and those aren't going to be as big as financial bets, but they'll be a bit smaller, but still our same level of quality, maybe just not as long or what have you. Those will be day one PlayStation Plus. Okay, but other than that, this really isn't, I mean, I'm not that interested in this, and I subscribe to PS Now. So Rayos says, now this is the guy, Rayos is the guy, he's a bit of a troll. This is literally the guy who put out a petition and said, let's get rid of Jim Ryan. Okay. He is the hardest core Sony fanboy you can find. Let's find out what he thinks about this. He says, this is not going to kill Game Pass. Sony wants to compete with Game Pass in their own way by making PS Now better. So this is a Game Pass competitor. That doesn't make any sense. It's either designed to go after that audience or go after a different audience. I'm not saying this is bad. Of course they should have done this. Merging PS Now and PS Plus together is exactly what they should do. But if you think this is going after Game Pass, then yeah, I don't agree with that at all. 9Live says no day and date is huge. That's exactly right. That's crucial. Now, again, now let's take it from this angle for a moment. One could argue that, and I think they might be right, but one could argue that Sony's first party is historically the best in the industry, and I don't think that's wrong. I think it's certainly, there's no question, if you're talking about single player cinematic action adventures, you do not get better than first party. Okay, but if you're talking, okay, so in that, one could argue that if Sony comes out with Last of Us Part 3, a new Uncharted, God of War Ragnarok, what have you, they can afford for those titles to be like, look, we're best of breed. We're going to allow, maybe you can rent it in 6 months, and then in 12 months, it'll go on the service. Or maybe it's just 12 months is when it goes on to PS Plus. That's fine. And I think they could survive that, or they could compete that way, because Xbox, at least at the moment, like, I'll be honest with you, I played Psychonauts 2 the other night for the first time. Xbox at the moment has not shown a single, what's the word? Aptitude for being able to compete with these guys when it comes to that genre of game. Psychonauts 2 is fine, but when you put it up against Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, I'm sorry. It's no. All over the board. I mean, Psychonauts wins, I think, on imagination, of course, and sort of creativity. But in terms of the control of the character, the combat, the graphics, the exploration, it doesn't come close, okay? So, at least at the moment, Xbox can't compete there, and day one drops don't really matter. But when you start looking at Forza, I think Forza is a much better game than Gran Turismo in terms of a commercial game. When you start looking at Halo, Sony doesn't have a Halo, right? They actually are showing now that they don't have any fucking RPGs, right? At least as far as I know, Xbox is coming out with, Wasteland, and there's like 5 companies that are making those goddamn RPGs for them. Obsidian. So when you start saying, okay, Xbox is dropping day one these genres that are not reflective on PlayStation, then you start to wonder, can PlayStation actually survive without, or at least can this Spartacus service survive without some day one drops? Because it used to be thought that, oh, well, Xbox is nowhere near Sony's quality, so don't worry about day one drops. They have a buffer built in because of the quality. Well, that's only one genre now. And now that Xbox is coming out showing what they can do in the genres they excel at, people are showing up for it, man. People always say that about Sony's first party. All they have is third-person action movie games. Xbox makes RPG shooters, so how is Sony better? This is Silver, whatever, Bane. I'm going to call you Bane, pal. Sony is better in that genre. So that's what I just said. I don't think Sony, I don't know why your whole message isn't showing up. I'll figure it out later. I don't know. I don't think anybody would look at Sony and say Destruction All-Stars is as good as Halo. And it's not even free to play, but as good as Halo in a multiplayer competitive game. I don't think most people believe that. What if Sony put that money in third-party day one offerings? Says Signal. What money? What are you talking about? Xbox after Bethesda deal has a stronghold on RPGs, says Wrath. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, in less than a year, people will be playing Starfield. Sometime after that, they'll be playing the new Elder Scrolls. Yes, Babyface Dewey is right, but the thing is, they may not be able to afford it, right? Babyface Dewey says, if Sony made a sub-service that included new games, old games, and 100% backwards compatibility all the way back to PS1, they would beat GamePass. That is an interesting... Okay, let's take that for a moment. Because I don't know if I agree anymore. I would have agreed with you before Halo Infinite launched and Forza launched, okay? I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm saying now it's a little murkier. The truth of your statement is a little murkier. Backwards compatibility doesn't matter. It matters a little bit, but it's not like, oh my God, babies, let's fucking invest let's buy 3 years of this in advance because we get to play Jumping Flash 1 and 2 on PlayStation. Nobody cares, right? It's a vocal minority, okay? But the new games, though, if they're dropping God of War Ragnarok day one, if they're dropping Uncharted day one, I think that's insanely powerful and potentially not cost, it's not financially doable for them. But let's assume they did. Before Forza and Halo, I would have said, yeah, that's it. Game Pass will still survive, of course, but Sony's come to play and go fuck yourself, Game Pass, because But now that Game Pass is literally coming out, like I just said, with games that Sony so far has never shown a real aptitude for. you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're trying to make those. We know Jade Raymond's group is. We know Gorilla is. I'm not. Fuck you, Look at John. Look at John, little stupid bitch. Go fuck yourself then. Here's the thought, John. Here's the thought. I got nothing for you, buddy. Sony says, Ryan, thank you for the super chat. He says, Sony makes one and done games. Xbox is replayability. Yeah, and they make the best one and done games in the industry. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. But we know, like I said, we know Jade's company's doing it. We know Gorilla's doing a shooter. Okay, I want to talk about this briefly. The only thing that's do you ever find that Sony how do I put this? Okay, here's what I'll say. I'm playing Forza the other night, and I'm playing Halo. In fact, last night I was playing with Spaz and Chongo and Robert. And I'm playing it, and you ever find that the Microsoft games, for the most part, don't feel like they have a director? And I think that's a good thing for those kinds of games. Like, I feel that even the Sony games that try to be service-based games, including Drawn to Death, which wanted to be a service-based game, there's so much of that Sony artistic auteur DNA baked in to the culture that sometimes I wonder if that sort of way of thinking about video games and presenting video games actually serve the audience. I did play Last of Us, was it Factions, and I loved it. But it still is oppressive, and it's heavy, and it's dark. It's so into the vision of the thematic that the Xbox games, I guess, feel more like sports. You know, they feel more like you're playing with your buddies, you're playing football, you're watching football. It has more of that kind of feel. And I think I think there may be something to that in regards to why those games maybe appeal to the people it does. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you, motherfucker. Brian says, Forza has microtransactions and Halo is free to play. Give me quality one and done instead. Well, you're right. There's nothing wrong with those kind of games. I hope those games continue to get made forever, and I don't think they won't. But we're talking more about the business of it, right? I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I don't like all that shit. Ghost Tsushima, Fubi, that's a great point. That's probably one of the reasons I love Ghost Tsushima. Ghost Tsushima, says Fubi, doesn't really feel like it has a director. It's true. That's true. Diego, I don't understand. Come on, how can you apply that to Psychonauts 2, a Wasteland 3, or a Forza? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? If Xbox games, says Johnny D, are so great, why aren't bots buying them? Why? Well, because they're on GamePass. Why would I buy any of them? And I'm not saying you're comparing Horizon Zero Dawn to Halo 5. I didn't play Halo 5. But again, I don't think Xbox can compete with Sony right now with their single player one and dones. Are you nuts? It's good to know, Fubi, you have a good point. Returnal feels directed. Sorry, I disagree with that. But Demon's Souls does not. Thematically speaking. Talking that Forza Horizon is more like a sporting event, says Still Ran. The game is just sport event. I know, but I'm just saying that even Halo feels more like that. Signal says, I hear you on this. I think you mentioned something like that before, but an easy comparison is something like HBO versus NBC. I think that's true. Sony feels more, even in their multiplayer attempts, they don't feel like they have their finger on the pulse of that particular mentality. They just don't. And it doesn't mean are you kidding? Of course they could get there. And maybe this is a conscious thing. They're aware of it and they're going to shift as they go. But I'm just saying that for now, though, it doesn't feel like even in their multiplayer offerings or their service-based offerings, it doesn't really feel like they understand that mentality. And maybe they shouldn't. Maybe there's a strength there in going, no, we're going to do service games, but we're going to do them the Sony way. Cal says Xbox games often have very little connective tissue, and that can be cool because you never know what you're going to get. Sony is more predictable. Yeah, so anyway, I agree. So there you go. That's what's happening. I don't think we know enough to really know if this is going to be a competitor to Game Pass or not. It's too early based on the data that's coming out. I'm going to bring in a call real quick. Yeah, Matt, you're right. Gourmet restaurant versus buffet. Wrath says Xbox is owned by Microsoft, who makes so much money that if they make a loss every year, next 10 years, they would be in surplus. Xbox can take risk. I don't know if Sony can. Yeah, sure, great. I mean, again, fans say that, but it's like I don't give a fuck. That's not that sounds like a Sony. That sounds like a Sony problem. Certainly not my fucking problem. It's not your fucking problem. It's like, give us Jason Schreier in the old Jewish grandma accent you do. I don't know what you're talking about. Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Schreier. It is very good to have you here today as I unveil my latest scoop. My latest scoop is all about Phil Spencer being caught in a compromising position with a cosplayer who was cosplaying the character Willow from the hit 1987 film Willow, directed by Ronnie Howard. Now we have that person here. We'll just call him Warwick. Wink. Warwick, how are you, sir? It's little Jason Schreier. Are you good? Are you good? Diego says, I've always been more of a Sony guy, but in the last couple of years, been enjoying the great variety that Xbox offers. It's true. It's absolutely true. Sony says Jax Jams needs a big multiplayer thing. I could see Halo trying to fill that hole. It would take a lot of push to keep people playing. The free-to-play could definitely be the way they go. Well, again, I look, I don't think Killzone... be done with that franchise. Be done with Resistance. The fact of the matter is, yes, part of it was launched on a console that wasn't as big as 360, and so that's part of the reason it didn't kind of enter into the zeitgeist. But Resistance, no matter what you think of Resistance in terms of quality, and of course it was quality, no matter what you think of Killzone, neither one of those entered into the gamer culture vernacular. They did not enter into the zeitgeist, right? They just kind of fizzled out. No one's thinking about the Hellgast, right? I couldn't even tell you what the enemies in Resistance are. I know what they are. They're aliens. I don't know what they're called. I think if Sony wants to go down that road, and I do think they are going down that road with the director from Rainbow Six at Guerrilla making their shooter, I don't think it's Killzone. I think that would be really fucking stupid. I honestly think, even though I don't think they should make SOCOM, I think that's a disaster waiting to happen because fan expectation, I've talked about that before, but thematically speaking, I think they'd be better off with something like SOCOM. But I could totally see it not being twisted enough for Sony in terms of like, okay, it's SOCOM, but can we make, maybe they're all going crazy and they have psychic powers, or it's SOCOM, but it's, there's a time travel element. Just make it SOCOM. Make it, give the people the meat and potatoes. Give the people the meat and potatoes. Pepito, my little Pepito, why are you here? He says Game Pass releasing first-party games has really done some damage this holidays. It's been a hell of a trip to watch. That's true. Cannibal Lecter, it's Jaffe. How are you, sir? Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up?
Oh, that is wonderful.
Isn't it great?
So, yeah. Just wanted to say a few things quickly. Number one, actually, there is an ice cream called Golden Gator. It's a wonderful ice cream, and I love it. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I think I'm not sure you remember or not, we go back and forth in relation to game subscription model, and is it going to be successful in the future? I guess for someone that is invested in this particular culture, entertainment, I'm a little bit worried about game subscription models being successful in the future, because the reason being is a lot of people say that they're competing with the $70 game subscription models. And I say, no, absolutely not. If you think game subscription models are competing with $70 games, no. There's always going to be that $3 to $5 million hardcore day one purchases. And, that's going to keep continuing on until... I
don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
All right. What I'm saying is subscription based services are not currently competing with $70 games. They're competing with free-to-play games. such as Fortnite, such as Warzone, such as whatever. The king of FPS.
Why would you say that?
Because it's all about attention, right? Who can grab the attention? Answer me this question, right? Why is Halo Infinite multiplayer not in Game Pass? It would have been a wonderful...
It is in Game Pass.
Incentive. No, it is not in Game Pass. Multiplayer.
It is in Game Pass.
Excuse me?
It is free to play. It is also in the Game Pass ecosystem.
All right. Anyway.
Well, no, I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, we'll just narrow it down to Halo Infinite multiplayer, right? Is it free to play?
It is free to play, yes.
Yes, it is free to play, right? Why didn't they put it into Game Pass and decided to go to free to play model?
Well, because they can make more money.
Yes, because they can make more money, and they cannot gatekeep it in a subscription, base, because there's not going to be enough players continuing to, pay for that. So, in essence, they realize.
But wait a minute. You're painting every Game Pass game like Halo. You're forgetting about Microsoft Flight Sim, Psychonauts 2, Wasteland 3.
Niche.
Microsoft Flight Sim is niche?
Yes, Microsoft Flight Sim is a niche game.
Okay, what about the new Gears of War that's coming? What about
new Gears of War, do you think the multiplayer is going to be a free-to-play, or is it going to be...
The multiplayer, the multiplayer will be, on all of these, should be free-to-play. Okay, but that's not why you need to subscribe to Game Pass if you like Game Pass. Game Pass is giving you, like, for example, the campaign is a direct competitor. Now, I haven't played the campaign. People say it's good, right? But let's assume it's good. I don't think it'll be as good as Sony shit. But if you're into the single-player shit and you've got the Halo campaign and you've got Starfield and you've got the new Indiana Jones game and you've got the new stuff from Tokyo Gameworks, these are not service games. These are single-player action-adventure games.
Yeah.
Why?
Do you know what I will do? Like,
what will you do?
Typical. I will do probably wait. Concentrate on my backlog, and maybe around September or December, when they're like in January, when there's a dip in those major releases, whatever it is.
Okay.
I'll just subscribe for 1 month. Go in.
Great.
Finish what I need to finish and go out.
But you're saying that like it's some kind of gotcha. Every subscription service deals with that. HBO, and that's what makes, in a lot of ways, that's what makes subscription services so exciting. Because if you look at HBO Max, if you look at Netflix, they are constantly having to keep people interested, or you will churn out. And why would why would you? What do you mean? Yes. Why would you complain about that? That's excellent. That means every couple of weeks, every month, you're going to get a first-party game from Xbox. And if you look at the cadence they're in now, every couple of fucking days, but certainly every week, you're going to get new stuff. That keeps you from leaving. That's wonderful.
But what keeps me leaving, or the next generation to come, and this is my point I'm trying to reach to, is there is a free-to-play offering that is coming from the other side. And that takes attention away subscription-based model games. Like, for example, tell me a free-to-watch, non-subscription model video service that offers Squid Game, that offers Arcane, that offers The Maid, that offers The Matrix Day One, whatever it is, right? Tell me a free-to-watch subscription like that. There's none. I cannot think of anything. So my option to watch Arcane, my option to watch Squid Game, my option to that quality of product, right? I would subscribe to Netflix. But in the gaming sphere, in the gaming model, there is free-to-play offerings like Warzone, like Fortnite.
Just like in television.
No, but anyway, David, I don't think I'll get to you anytime soon. But I guess my point is that apparently there's.
Let me ask the chat. If anybody in the chat understands what the caller, which is Cannibal Lecter, is saying, someone else call in and maybe decipher or not decipher. What's the word I'm looking for? Translate. Because I don't understand. It sounds like what you're saying. Yeah, but I'll let you go, Cannibal. Thanks for the call, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's just...
So what I'm trying to understand is it sounds like what he's saying is in television where you're not going to get Squid Game, no, but you'll get, whatever the hit show, on, I don't know, fucking The Voice or American Idol or The Bachelor or whatever. You'll get that, and that's free. And if you want the stuff from Netflix, you subscribe to Netflix, and then when you're done watching it, you cancel it. Free to play and Game Pass don't fight each other. I don't understand what the problem is. I can enjoy Halo, but the minute I'm done playing free to play Halo through my Xbox, then I can go over and play Skyrim, or I can go over and play one of the hundreds of other games they offer. I don't really understand that. But if you understand it, please let me know. I didn't hang up on him. I don't know what you mean. How you get in where? It's, by the way, Fupy, it wasn't the ADHD at the end. It's the fact that I'm literally looking at the viewership, and I can tell when to hang up on calls because viewership dips. And so moving forward, I will let you know if I start to see viewership dipping and I cut you off quick, it's not because I'm being rude. It's because I have to put the needs of the many ahead of the needs of the few, which means be fucking interesting. Doug, that's a great point. If you can't make your point in under a minute, it's not a legitimate concern. Let's try one more, then we'll get on to some other news stories. Or I'll go to the chat first, then we'll get some other news stories. Kuristafa, what's up, baby?
Hey, Jeffy. Long time no see. How have you been?
I've been good. What's up?
I've been playing Forza Horizon 5 a lot on Xbox Game Pass, and you remember how like a month ago I was on the bandwagon, like, I don't know if Xbox Game Pass is like the thing. Yeah, I just want to call back and be like, I'm sorry, because I kind of really love Xbox Game Pass a lot.
Wait, what? I'm a little confused. When you first called in, you said you didn't love it? I don't remember you saying you didn't love it. What did you say? You just didn't understand it, or what?
No. So a month ago, we were talking about, like, I don't think Xbox Game Pass is the future. I think that there's still a market for physical games going into the store.
Okay.
That's what we're arguing. Now, it's like, no, I kind of see, like, here's the thing. If you're an independent game developer and you sell your video game for $10 a game, that market will still be there because that's how you make most of your money.
Okay.
But if you're a company like Microsoft, you are way more interested in a platform like Xbox Game Pass as opposed to selling Forza Horizon 5 for $70 because you'll probably make more money that way and you'll get a larger audience that way. So,
but even the same if you're selling a game for $10. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, Game Pass or Sony's new Spartacus, this is not about Microsoft, but, Game Pass is the ultimate democratization tool. Because, if you open, and I'm not going to do it right now, I don't want to slow down the chat, but if you open up Game Pass today, I'm trying to remember what it was. There's a game on there that I saw last night I had never even heard of. It was some like Zelda-esque RPG. If that hadn't been that level of advertising, like people who have Game Pass or eventually Spartacus or whatever, or Netflix, you open it all the time and you just find shit that would never get the kind of marketing that a $10 indie game would otherwise get. So I think it's actually good. Like Unsighted, I never would have played Unsighted. That's one of my Game of the Year nominees that I only found because it was up there on Game Pass. So I don't know if I would agree with you that the right thing for the $10 guy is to also sell day one. It might be. Your mileage may vary. But the big news is, though, you're saying Jaffe was right. That you played Game Pass and now you're like, yeah, Jaffe wasn't a moron. He's right, and he deserves all the women folk.
Well, kind of, yeah, because like I was very like I don't know if like I will like Xbox Game Pass. Now that I have Xbox Game Pass on my PC, like once I actually have it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is this is the future.
Why do you think gamers are like 4-year-olds, because what you just described is my 4-year-old when I said, try this, it's a grilled cheese sandwich, you'll love it. I don't want it. I hate it. It's gross. Just give me, Fruit Loops. And finally I get her to eat a goddamn grilled cheese sandwich. She's like, this is the best goddamn thing I ever put in my fucking mouth. What?
I'll tell you what, you know what it is that, like, look, I like having my games on the shelf, and I like being able to just, like, put my game in. Like, I like that, right? But the thing is, Xbox Game Pass has gotten to the point where it's so affordable, you know. Digital media has gotten so far forward. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, what do I get buying a physical disc? I get data on a disc. I put it in my console. I download it. I download 60 gigabytes. So it's gotten to a point where physical media has not advanced. It's advanced so slowly, and digital media has advanced so fast that I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I got bored of that call. But listen, I got to tell you something. He's not wrong. I love you, Christoph. You know I do. But I get the gist. But you're not wrong. I always bring up quick resume, whatever. You love it, you hate it. I don't give a fuck. But the bigger point is it doesn't even occur to me anymore. And I know this sounds like I'm some lazy fuck, and I kind of am. But it doesn't even occur to me that I don't have to get up and go to a box and change the disc and all that shit. That people who love their physical, which is great, continue to love it. I don't give a fuck. I just go, I want to play this, bloop, I want to play that, bloop, you don't have to change disc anymore. And that's regardless of if you're playing PlayStation or anything else. So I'm with Kiristafa on the digital future. Absolutely. I've been digital since they allowed me to be digital. It's great, man. Okay. Spartacus says Rogue will be a great service. It will not be the main focus of Sony. Okay. I mean, we none of us really know. None of us really fucking know. I'm hoping Game Pass isn't all FTP, free to play, or have microtransactions. Brian Stickler, it already does. And again, if it doesn't, then I'll unsubscribe. If everything goes to become a microtransaction wasteland on the what do you call it? The Game Pass or the Spartacus, then they're done having my money. I mean, that's the thing that I always bring up to people when they say, oh, Game Pass is scary because of that. Then just kind of like the other callers were saying, just unsubscribe. If you're playing it and you're like, man, everything's starting to be microtransaction out the butthole, not a problem. Easy fix. You can cancel at any time. I will tell you, I was playing Halo last night with Rob, and it was so funny and so annoying. I'm playing with Rob and Chongo and Spazbo. And I remember hearing in my headphones, this is about free to play. I remember hearing in my headphones that Spaz is going for one of his challenges about collecting, the flags and shit. And I captured the flag, and so I'm running to put the flag in my team's hole, and suddenly I got Rob in my ear and Spaz in my ear yelling at me, don't fucking drop the flag. Give it to Spaz. Give it to Spaz. And I got shot. And thank God he was close enough that he could deposit the flag. And I'm like, what the fuck? And Spaz is like, oh, well, I'm doing my challenges. Like an old woman, like, I'm doing my calisthenics today. I'm doing my challenges. I'm like, that's the problem with certain free-to-play things like that. That's why Halo needs to change very quickly to do not have the challenges, but, counter to what the actual game mode is. It's ridiculous. But the bigger point is, yes, if everything becomes free-to-play like that, then go fuck yourself. I want nothing to do with it. But right now, that has not even come close to being the experience that I have had on the Game Pass. Sabo Productions, thank you, buddy. Sabo, are you Kiristafa? He says, I just noticed you kicked me out. Oh, my God. Wait a minute. I'm almost certain Sabo, and thank you, buddy, for the super chat. I'm almost certain Sabo is Kiristafa. Kiristafa is a very loquacious individual. He's a very verbose fellow. What probably he means by this chat, I just noticed you kicked me out of the call. He probably was talking for like another 3 minutes before he realized nobody was there. That's how much he likes to talk. When I love having you on, Kiristafa. Call anytime. Thank you for the super chat. Brett Williams of the Connecticut Williamses says, do we really think Last of Us 2, God of War, Spider-Man would be made if Sony was relying on day one release through a submodel? Honest question. Yes, we do. Absolutely. I don't know why that's hard to believe. Here's a great example. Look at Red Notice. I think it was called Red Notice. The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, relatively big shot movie director, not like Spielberg, but like commercial movies like Central Intelligence and Skyscraper and a couple other things he had done. One of the biggest Netflix movies of all time. And it cost as much as, movies out in the theater, if not a little bit more. And they're doing that because they have to compete. And so what I will tell you is the day one release subscription model for video games right now can't spend that kind of money and drop day one because the audience isn't there. And the audience may never be there. You may never get the same kind of sell-through rate of subscriptions in games because games are more niche than movies that you get for something like Netflix. But so yes, you're right. The budgets would be affected. So they would still make a Spider-Man, a God of War, a Last of Us 2. But you're absolutely right. Sony would probably go, we can't afford to drop this day one if we want to spend that much money. Now, I don't think the games need to cost that much, but I mean, they do if they're going to continue to look and play, animate the way they are, but that's where a lot of the money goes. But let's assume, though, that can still be solved. Sony could still have 2 tiers of games. They could say, look, this is a day one Spartacus game, and it's about 20, 30 million at the top, and we can make a bunch more of those. And then every couple of years, every couple of times a year, like they're doing now, we have our premiere titles, and those come out, and they sell and sell and sell, and then anywhere from 8 months to 12 months, then they go on to the service. Why not? Why not? Or what else you can do anything. It's kind of like Christopher was saying. It's this digital world of options. You can go, okay, you know what? After 7 months, God of War Ragnarok, we're bringing to Spartacus for the weekend. Kind of like the movie, kind of like television, broadcast television. It's like, hey, the movie, back when I was a kid, you saw the movie in the theater, and then eventually it came to television, and that was your only option to see it again. So if you're like, hey, God of War Ragnarok will be out this weekend on Spartacus, then it's going back in the vault, you have to buy it. That'll probably prompt people to buy it because most people won't finish it over the weekend. And then eventually they can bring it to the fucking full-time service after a year, 18 months or whatever. So I think it's a very, Brett Williams, I think it's a very, and I don't mean this like in a simple jack way, but I think it's a very not base is wrong. Kids use it differently these days. I think it's a very simple way, a naive way of looking at it. I think if you only look at it and go, this game costs $200 million and you put it out day one on a subscription service, and in doing so, how do you make your money back based on the math? You don't, but that doesn't mean it's not a functional system. It just means you have to be a little bit more creative with how you do things. Let me get, where did that go? I'm sorry, fellas. I'm sorry. We're going to get off this topic in a second and move on to Geoff Keeley. I wanted to read this comment real quick. Sorry, fellas. I'm honest. I'm always honest with you guys. Hang on. I have to take a break. I don't mean I'm leaving. I have to just settle for a second. What's fun is you guys never know if I'm doing a bit or if I'm serious, but I really am just meditating for a second. Okay. Okay. Pastor says, what is the acceptable audience size? 100 million subscribers, 500? I don't know. I mean, right now it's looking like Xbox is about 24, and come the end of the year with Christmas, and they're probably going to be upwards to 30 million by 2022, start of 2022. That's a hell of a big deal, but I don't know what the end goal could be. Fupy says The Rock, Gal Gadot is hot, but The Rock is automatic B movie. I liked Red Notice. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't understand why people hating on that fucking thing. I thought it was good people. Okay, hang on. John Weston, thank you, buddy, for the super chat. There's Johnny Weston pushing a boulder up a hill like Sisyphus? No. Who pushed the boulder up the hill? Was it Sisyphus? Right? I don't know, but you're pushing the boulder up a hill. I appreciate it, buddy. He says, Weston, how come games are being released broken and unfinished? When you were designing games, was there more pressure to release a more finished game than now? Well, look, I mean, first off, thank you. I do appreciate your generosity. Thanks, buddy. Okay, everything gets done in any kind of business because of the free market. And basically what's happening is it used to be, when I first started in video games, it used to be that you had to finish for cartridge games. We had to finish games 3-4 months before they were even meant to be on a shelf, right? And sometimes you could really push for favoritism at the manufacturing plant, and you could maybe get 3 or 2 months windows if it was a big deal and you paid some extra cash, right? And then, we got into the ability to download patches. And then what that allowed us to do is we could look at our bug report and go, okay, this is the game that we're submitting for gold that will clear our internal testers, that will clear Sony's testers, and it can officially be sold. But we know we've got 800 bugs to fix. So that will be a day one patch, right? So you get kind of a second at bat with that, right? I don't think it should be acceptable. I think it sucks, but I think it's fine if you have a day one patch, because I think the games get better and the gamers are demanding understandably more complicated experiences. But I think that has been taken advantage of a little bit. And that's not really the fault of EA or Ubisoft, or even, what are those guys named that get the shit in right now? The Todd Howard company, Bethesda. That's y'all's fault. I remember when Fallout 76 came out and everybody was like, this is a piece of shit, it's buggy, it doesn't work, it's crap. Y'all still bought it. I didn't buy it, but people bought it in droves and they continued. So the answer is, how come, is because y'all keep buying them. So it's like, why would they stop? Hang on.
Hello.
Hey, I'm streaming right now. Can I call you back?
Yeah, you want to see Miss Maisel tonight?
Yeah, when you want to come.
Just call me when you're done.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, but that would be my answer, would be that, stop buying broken games and you'll be good to go. And I don't mean that like a dick. I'm not being a prick. I'm just saying that's the reason. I guarantee you if Battlefield 2042 came out and no one showed up, EA would learn. They'd go, well, we can't do that anymore, fellas. They read the reviews. They know it's buggy. They're going to hold off. But there you go. GTA Trilogy, I don't know how well that one sold, actually. I'm not sure because the physical's not out yet, so we haven't actually seen the digital sales. Jojo D, there he is. There's our buddy. Jojo D says, oh my God, I just got home from work and haven't seen a live stream in over a month. Who are these new people? I have a feeling they're great. Some of them are okay. Some of them are assholes, but they're not too shabby. How are you, Jojo D? How's the new job? Listen to me. Let's change topics, though, okay? Let's change topics. So about Geoff Keighley. Jeffrey Keighley was quoted. Well, I don't know. He was interviewed. He was asked. Let's put it that way. Jeffrey Keighley was asked. I don't know who asked him. It may have been the Washington Post. So it may have been little Gene Park, our good friend Gene Park, who I really should get on a stream soon. He's a really fascinating fellow to talk to. But he was basically asked, hey, what are you doing about Activision Blizzard? How are you going to navigate that? And Keighley says, this is his quote. He says, well, we want to support employees and developers. This was an interview. Yeah, interview about what to expect with the Game Awards next week. Keighley said he supported people coming forward with their stories, but they didn't want to diminish developers' opportunity to spotlight their games. Come on now. Let me show you something. You know what? Let me. I'm just going to read you some things. I want you to understand something about this. Okay. Here's some numbers: 11 million, 26 million, 45 million, 83 million. I'm going to read them to you one more time because I want you to tell me what those numbers are. 11 million, 26 million, 45 million, 83 million. Do you know what those numbers are? Do you know what those numbers are? Oh, Rayos, you're a moron. I can't even say I love you. You're a fucking moron. While I'm waiting for you to tell me what those numbers are, he says, the Game Awards are coming soon. Xbox will be humbled again as the juggernaut PlayStation wins Game of the Year and a lot of awards. Do you think anyone gives a fuck? That's charming and naive and terrifying that you think anyone gives a fuck that what wins Game of the Year. I couldn't even tell you what won Game of the Year last year. Come on now, don't get out of your fucking head. Get out of your fucking head, sir. Geoff trying to look cool with the background graphic. Oh, I see. No. 11 million, 26 million, 45 million, 83 million. Those are the viewership increase for the Game Awards. So in 2017, it was 11 million people tuned in. Last year, it was 83 million. Okay, if you're Geoff Keighley, and what you're saying is, and I like Geoff. I have talked to him on a number of occasions. He's always been a very nice man. I'm incredibly inspired and jealous of the guy's hustle. He's a fucking monster. In a good, I don't mean he's a bad guy. I mean, he's like a workhorse. He's a very impressive human. But this I take, and even though I mock his Game Awards, I always make sure to say the show itself is wonderfully produced and it's entertaining, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not, but it's a very good show he puts on. He should be very proud of his accomplishments. I don't like the awards part. We can talk about that. But this is unacceptable to me, Jeffrey Keighley. If you're watching Jeffrey Keighley, bad form, you have 83 million. You're probably going to go up more than that this year. 100 million, 120 million. And you're not going to use this as an opportunity to educate the consumer, to educate the viewer on what is happening industry-wide at Riot Games, at Activision Games, at Ubisoft. You're not going to, I mean, you always say in your interviews, like, well, you know, you grew up and you wanted games to have the Oscars. Well, the Oscars talk about this shit. The Oscars, when there's Harvey Weinstein or when there's shit going down, it comes up. It comes up. You have to mention this, Geoff Keighley. It is in, and I know you're going to be like, well, that's going to hurt our, here's the deal. Are you in this for the long haul or the short haul, baby? Listen, let's be clear. This is between you and me, Geoff. No one else is listening. If you don't take this opportunity, whether you're doing it through a staged person who comes on stage and he says it so you don't have to be the messenger, whatever, or if you look in the camera and say it, if you don't allow your show with this incredibly impressive growing audience to acknowledge and address this issue, then you may win in the short term. You may get more Activision codes. You may get more Activision or Ubisoft premieres, but you're going to hurt your brand because it's a shitty thing to do to ignore this and to not speak to this when it is your karmic human responsibility. Now, again, make sure you say alleged because we don't have proof that these things happened, that Activision and Bobby Kotick and all that are accused of, but it's you know, you're not citing sources like you have one source. This is news all over the world and not just in video games. If you don't make it clear to your audience that this is happening, A, shame on you, and B, you're going to hurt your brand in the long term. That's what I will say. You might keep the premieres coming in. It won't last. The industry, the media for video games. I mean, look at the success of Colin Moriarty, right? I know a lot of people don't like Colin in the media. Colin doesn't need you guys anymore, right? Colin goes right to the fans. You're one of, and you do great. I kick this off by telling you how great I think you are. You do great, but you're one of the last remaining vessels. That's the wrong word. Vestiges. You're one of the last remaining guys. Sometimes you just pick a $2 word. That's all you need. The last remaining fellas out there that can do it the old school way. But most gamers these days and most customers in general these days are going right to the fucking source, okay? And if and all you've got is your credibility. And if you stand up on that fucking stage and you don't allow this to be exposed to this massive audience, then you're going to hurt your brand, and more importantly, you're going to hurt your soul. There you go. That's what I say. What do you guys think in the chat? Also, there are allegations. Grow up, Geoff. The show isn't the place for it, and it's foolish for everyone involved. No, it's not. What are you talking about? No one is saying Geoff Keighley needs to look at the camera and say, shame on you, Bobby Kotick. No one is saying that. No one is saying that. What did I say a couple of seconds ago? I said, make sure you say alleged. Fuck you, it's alleged. Make sure you say alleged, right? Isn't that what I said? I'm not saying Geoff needs to stand there and go, bad Bobby Kotick, okay? But I am saying Geoff needs to make it clear, this is what it would go like. I'll write the speech for you. This is the first pass, okay? As we're here tonight to celebrate this industry we all love so much, I do feel it's my responsibility, it's my obligation to call out, to let people know what might be happening in our industry. Now, what I love about America is the justice system suggests and says and demands that you are innocent until you're proven guilty. And that remains true in this story I'm about to tell you. But I want to let you know, you as a consumer of this great product should start including in your research for buying a game. Is it not just the reviews? Is it not just word of mouth? But ask yourself, just like when you go to the store and you say, who makes my food? Is this free range eggs? Is this made ethically? Maybe you don't care. That's fine. You don't have to care. I'm Geoff Keighley. I'm not telling you what to care about. I just want you to know that there's a lot of accusations, very serious accusations about people's safety, people's lives. Some people have committed suicide over this, tragically. How people are treated, how people are paid. There's a lot of talk in this industry about things in certain companies may not be on the up and up. I'm not calling out names. I'm not calling out companies. This is about celebrating the industry. But it would be disingenuous for me to celebrate the industry on one hand and not at the same time let this massive, wonderful, committed, loyal audience that we have built together on the Game Awards know that you probably need to be checking where your games are coming from and make your own decision about how you feel about spending your money. All right, let's get on to the next great important award, Best Esports Coach. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Rathy says what Jaffe wants is for Geoff to be a leader and do something that hurts in the short term but helps in the long term. Rathy says Geoff ain't got him in it. Geoff ain't got it in him. I think Geoff is a good guy. Doug says, we don't have proof. Why aggravate your business partners in front of 100 million viewers? Well, it's not 100 million viewers. Well, okay. Let me ask you this, Doug. Let me ask you this, Doug. You have got Nintendo. You have got Bowser at Nintendo, not the monster, but the executive, the head. You have got Jim Ryan at Sony. You've got Phil Spencer at Microsoft. You have literally got, I think it's 5... maybe it's Secretary of States in different states in America that are publicly saying there are problems at Activision. There are problems that they are not addressing. And you think it's too fucking early? No one's asking Geoff to be a goddamn judge. No one's asking Geoff to make, or a jury and say there's proof. But if all those people I just mentioned can talk about this publicly, you don't think Geoff Keighley, who is speaking directly to the gamers, should talk about this publicly? You're out of your goddamn mind. You're out of your goddamn mind. Hang on. Okay. Geoff should say something for the success of his own brand. Yeah, I mean, even if there's no other issue. Yeah, Dredd says Geoff spoke out for Hideo Kojima when he got fucked over by Konami. He should do the same with this. That's right. That's right. Pepe says that would be a very milquetoast, inoffensive lip service to the issue. Literally the bare minimum. If he doesn't do that, then he's part of the problem. I think there's some truth there. There's some truth there. I don't think it's just milquetoast. I think it is, because I do, believe it or not, I do think that people like Pepe are right, and people like who else was saying it? Some of the guys in the chat, Mr. K is right, that it's not Geoff's role to stand there and pontificate about this is, because they are innocent until proven guilty. That's why I didn't frame it that way. That's why I didn't say that Keeley should go out there and just get on a soapbox. But I do think getting out there and suggesting to people that, hey, there's some shit going on, and best you check into it and you make up your own mind. I don't think that's just milquetoast. I think that's responsible. And then, whatever happens, happens. The Game Award says Eddie T is a glorified commercial for publishers. Well, that's true. He would never do anything like that to upset his sponsors. That's fine. But think about this. He only has sponsors because he has an audience, right? So the minute he loses the audience because they slowly start to peel away because they go, this guy's a shill, this guy is not a genuine fella, he won't have to worry about his sponsors. And I don't think Geoff's in this for the short game. I think he wants to be the Dick Clark of video games and be doing this until he drops dead at 90. Zav says people in high positions have more power and clout to call out Activision. Geoff just wants the bag and is scared to lose access. Yeah, that's fine, but you're going to lose your audience. I mean, I'm not threatening Geoff Keighley like you'll lose your audience tomorrow. Of course not. But this is going to chip away. Matt says it would be cool if he did it. I just don't see him doing it. Doug says, I'm out of my goddamn mind. These streams, says Heath Nation, are better than Friday Night Tights. There, I said it. I think that's a wrestling thing, but I don't know what that is. I'm a grown-ass man. No, I like wrestling, actually. Interesting. I agree with everything except the word hot. Fubie says they should show a montage of hot women. I don't know why they have to be hot or women, but they should show a montage of people who have suffered at the abuse of Activision, Blizzard, Ubisoft, and Microsoft. I agree with that. Team Worm, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says Geoff Keighley will gleefully ignore the elephant in the room as he chases after Hollywood celebrities for his show. It's all a bad look for him. I agree, Team Worm. I mean, I don't think the show's a bad look for him, but I think ignoring the elephant in the room is very much a bad look for him. I appreciate the super chat, and I like your little worm. That sounded positively filthy. I was not coming on to you, but I do appreciate the super chat, and I agree. He needs to say something, and I tell you what, I'm going to make a video of what I just said. I'm going to put it on the internet. I'm going to @ Geoff Keighley, and we're going to get to him. We're going to bring Jesus. We're going to bring him to Jesus. CR3D, you don't understand. Stop it, you moron. Why can't you just be less binary? It's kind of like that great line in Steve Jobs where Seth Rogen says to Steve Jobs, he's like, you can be talented and a nice guy. It's not binary, right? You don't have to be a lefty, weak-willed Biden voter to support what I'm talking about. You don't even have to think Bobby Kotick should be fired to agree with what I'm talking about, okay? All I'm saying, CR3D, you sound like something from Star Wars, is that Keeley's job is not to judge. He's to say, look, there's a lot of accusations going on. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just letting you know, hey, if you want to look into it, it's out there. He's just educating people who may not have even thought about it. And you know what? You're probably right. 80% of those people may not give a fuck. They just want their games. Totally fine. Not a problem with that. But you think it's bad form just for someone with that audience not to say, hey, you may want to, check under the floorboards before you buy the house to make sure it's not rotten? Come on now. You typing that makes you seem like somebody who wants to keep it hidden. Don't keep it hidden. Let people make their own goddamn minds up. Okay. You know what I'm curious about is this guy just sent me a chat. I've seen some of these throughout the day where the chats are different colors, and I don't know why. It doesn't matter. But anyway, there's the Geoff Keighley story. Okay. I'm gonna try this one more time. I swear to God. Hang on. if don't bore me. Don't bore the audience. Come on, Cannibal. Let's get in there. God damn it. Cannibal, give me something good. What do you got? What do you got, baby? What the fuck?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear I can hear all the abuse going on in the background. Who are you torturing in that house?
Geoff Keeley.
All right, what's up? Real quick. Go.
No. Okay, my main thing is that it is his obligation to acknowledge the stuff that is currently going on in the industry and how developers are currently affected. And if he cannot, if he doesn't do it, he really should do it, because it is a show to wrap the year up, and anything that happens in the industry needs to be acknowledged, needs to be celebrated, and needs to be critiqued in his show. And I think if he doesn't do that, what's the point of his show?
Well, I mean, if you're a cynic, you could say the point of his show is to make money. But that said, though, I don't think you're wrong. All right, buddy.
I don't. All right. Like if he
say what I want you to say. You know what I want you to say. Give it to me.
That's a bingo.
Goodbye. There you go. Into the night. Mike Warner says, Jaffe, you never read my super chat. You never once paid for drugs, not once. But seriously, my super chat was never read. I didn't see your super chat, but if you want to, don't send it again. Don't pay me again, but thank you for it. I'll be looking, just retype it in the normal chat, and I'll read it for you, buddy. But I apologize if I did miss it. Needs to be acknowledged, says Geoff, by journalists, not by Geoff. Why? Geoff is, as much of a journalist as anybody else in terms of video games. I think, I don't even want to look at that horrible icon of yours, though. If he says nothing, what exactly would be the importance of the show outside of filling article pages? If he says nothing, what exactly would be the importance of the show? I don't understand that question. CR says, it's like when the Oscars talk about how white man bad just to get their woke points and superficial pat on the back. No, it's not. I don't understand why this is hard for you to understand. I think you are absolutely kind of, and I get it. The left or the progressives haven't done the best job in making people feel just like the far right and the Tea Party didn't make people feel they were being genuine. They were just being political. But in this case, I'm telling you what the value would be. Going up and saying white man bad, maybe or maybe it doesn't help or hurt. I don't really know because I wasn't following that specific thing you're talking about. But all I'm saying is Geoff Keighley isn't even saying Activision bad. He's just saying, hey, there's a lot of smoke out there. Maybe you want to check into if there's a fire. That's all he's doing. Crazed Assassin says, do you think Keeley supports China legislation on gaming? Let's put it this way. The fact that you would even ask me that question exists because of what we're talking about. Because now you've got a very prominent figure in the video game industry whose reach is only growing if you look at his ratings. And at least at the moment, he doesn't know if he's going to acknowledge what's happening in the industry, which is causing you, Crazed Assassin, to call his character into question about China. So I know Keeley. I think Keeley's ultimately going to make the right decision. I think he's got a good heart. And I think ultimately the China legislation he probably would not agree with. But if he doesn't say anything or doesn't allow his show to even acknowledge it, then I don't know. Then I would have to say it looks like money is the primary motivator in that case. It's simply not true, MTO. MTO says it's not his story to tell. I like the idea of having victim abusers tell snippets would come off as opportunistic. Only if you're a cynic. I'm not saying stand up there and tell the story of Activision. I'm saying, I'm going to say it one more time and then I'm going to shut up about it because I know the people who are hearing me, they've heard me and they understand what I'm actually asking for. The people who are coming back at me either aren't listening or really don't want to hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying stand up there and say Bobby Kotick is bad, look what he's being accused of. Don't name names. Don't name companies. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge it may very well be a problem. And I'm telling you as a consumer, not for woke points, but because this is an important thing for our industry. And we are at a crossroads in our industry. And I think it would do you well to educate yourself. It's not my job to do it, though, on what might be happening out in the world. That's all he has to say. That's all he has to say. I like wokeness, says Fupy. I don't need hateful trash that can't hide their demeaning insults behind flawless rhetoric. I like being woke as well. All right, there you go. I'm done talking about it. Anybody coming at me with things in the chat like Sklar saying, why does he have to say it? I just told you. He doesn't have to say it. He can do what the fuck he wants to. Stefan, it's Jaffe. What's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you so darn good. What's up?
Okay, yeah, I just came in to watch the stream. I actually don't know what you're talking. I have a general idea of what you're talking about.
Are you from England?
Yeah, I'm from the UK.
Hello, Governor. Would you like me to do my accent? Will you feel more comfortable if I do my accent?
Do your best. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of yours.
Is this Roy Kent?
Say it again.
Is this Roy Kent?
That's it. Yep.
All right, what's going on, Governor? What do you want to talk about, baby? Go.
Yeah. So Bobby Kotick.
Yes.
What do you want to say about him, and what do you want to hear from me about him? Because I can give you my opinion if you want.
I don't know who you are. Why do I want your opinion?
I don't know, because I'm a person in this world.
I know, but yes,
say what I think.
Yes, why don't you just do that? Why don't you call and say, Jaffe, I'd like to tell you what I think about Bobby Kotick. Go.
Well, I think it's a bit boring, possibly, because I basically agree with you that the world is pretty fucked up, and it promotes people like him to, be in charge. And I think it's a sign that we are in a pretty fucked up society, that people like him are in charge.
We are. Oh, baby, subscribe. We are. We're in a terrible state. Yes, mankind, I will be stunned if we survive as a species for another 1,000 years. We are absolutely on the way out.
There's no way. You know what? I made a bet with my friend a few days ago. Yeah. That within our lifetime, there's going to be another nuclear bomb somewhere in the world.
I think most people who are sort of safety folks and people in government would agree with that.
Yeah, and that's pretty depressing.
It's well, I don't know if it's depressing. I think ultimately, yes, of course, it's in the moment depressing, but I think ultimately we're an experiment, probably like a lot of other forms of life, and we maybe who comes after us, whatever comes after us, will be able to look at us and evolve and say, you know what, every single time they do these 8 things, the civilization crumbles. Let's build a civilization around.
What I think is going to come after us? It's probably the thing that's going to come after us is what's been here for 100,000 years or more before us.
Those little bears,
which is like cockroaches,
Yeah, or maybe we'll have AI.
Well, maybe, but it shows us that intelligence really isn't beneficial to survival.
Right. Understood. All right. Thanks.
Intelligence create.
Yeah, I'm bored now, but Stefan, I love you. I love you, Stefan. But that was getting boring. But I got the gist. I really did. When you have ADD, I'm not even fucking with you. If you know people in your life, you have ADD. One of the things that is a benefit of ADD is you can read people very quickly. Like you can tell, is this a good person or not? Very, very quickly. It's not magic. There's science explaining sort of what's happening, physiologically in the brain. The other thing is you lack social cues. No, you don't lack social cues. You lack sort of social norms sometimes. I know the polite thing was to slowly usher you off the call. But I know the correct thing for the audience. I know they got the gist. I got the gist, and I liked what you were saying, but I didn't need to hear the whole thing. Oh, I'm the bad guy. Huh, I'm the bad guy. Shane, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Seriously, Stefan, thanks for calling. Call back anytime, buddy. Isn't it more important to call out the Communist Party in gaming? They run concentration. You don't have to fucking tell me. I've been calling out the fucking China bullshit, including Activision being in the back pocket of China for years. Go look at my YouTube channel that you're on right now. I agree. Look, now what I will tell you about that is that that one is a little different. I would put the abuse ahead of that, because at that point you're getting into more of a judgment call. And again, I think if you side with money over the safety of the Uyghurs or any of the kind of shit that the Chinese government's doing, I don't want to get political, but let's just say I think they're both tragic, and I think the China thing is fundamentally even more tragic. But I think people already who know about it have either said, yeah, life's tough all over. I got to focus on my own shit. I think mention it maybe, but I don't think it's as crucial at this point to mention it and educate people about it as much as this. Because if you want to know what's happening in China and how it's affecting games, that data has been out there in all kinds of ways. But I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Boner donor dysfunctional dick. Boneless Donner, dysfunctional dick, coming this fall to ABC. You think he's basically your typical gumshoe, but he's not. His dick has no bones in it, like no one else's dick has bones either. But he's a cracked private eye with a flaccid penis and a heart of gold. It's Boneless Boner, dysfunctional dick, Tuesday nights on ABC. Starring David Duchovny. David, is the rumor about a new Twisted Metal true? I don't know. I've heard the same rumor you have, which is the Destruction All-Star developers are making it. It's going to be tied into the TV show, which as far as I know doesn't have a green light yet, but it sounds very interesting. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's true. Probably it's true, but I don't know. Puppy, we are way better than China. I don't want to get into politics. Not that I don't want to get into politics, but the fact of the matter is viewership goes down. Viewership goes down because people have been raised, don't talk politics. So stupid. Talk politics. That's what affects your life. But let's move the fuck on. I do want to talk about video games. I want to tell you something else is going on in the world of games. One moment. Stefan, I will absolutely chat with you about China on a more, let's do a China-centric stream. I'm reaching out to an author about China and how they affect the entertainment industry. I'm going to bring him on for an interview. Absolutely. Let's do that. I would love to do that with you, but I don't think this is the stream for it is all. Listen. Hey, there's Stoner Joe. Hey, buddy. Stoner Joe says, thanks for Super Chat, buddy. He says, I am well, people. Good. Hope all is going as you would like or whatever. However, anyways, back to Gabbing the Games. Thanks, buddy. You know I love having you here. I'm glad you're doing well. CR3D, are you getting back into games? We miss you. I'm right here, baby. I'm right here. No, I have no plans to get back into games. You never know. I am currently doing I'm consulting with a games company, helping them with some design stuff called Movie Games, which I'm having a lot of fun doing. But I don't plan on going back mainstream and doing it. So like Grave Doll, you just wrote me this thing that says, Jaffe, big question for you. BB and Tina win. I wonder why that particular message was highlighted. Like it was in color on my screen. I don't know why. But I don't know. Soon. Okay, that's right, Digital Napes. Okay, listen. Naughty Dog puts out a request for an employee today, a couple of days, whatever. The role focuses on in-game initiatives to increase revenue and conversion while maintaining a strong player-first value system. This we'll get to It Takes Two in just a second. This really speaks to kind of what Rob the Mod and me and Spazbo were dealing with last night, where, I don't have a problem with free-to-play when free-to-play is cosmetic. I have a huge problem when free-to-play affects the experience of playing the game. So I actually saw a headline. I haven't read the article, so let's be fair. I don't. It may say something different. But it was a headline on Kotaku. I think it was Kotaku saying that all of the kind of boring Spartan armor that you see in Halo mixed with the nicer armor highlights a real discrepancy problem. And it's like, no, people either spent money or they didn't. People either grinded for items to make their character look cooler or they didn't. I get my ass handed to me all the time in that game by people who haven't spent a dime. I think when microtransactions are doing that, it's fucking great. But when you're talking about challenge modes that affect the gameplay because you aren't playing to the rules of the game, that's a problem. So here we have this job at Naughty Dog. We don't know what game it's for. It says the studio's first standalone multiplayer. So this may be factions, the Last of Us 2 factions multiplayer, or it may be something else. But I want to read you some of the requirements of this guy's job. We're seeking to bring the same level of ambition and quality of our signature story-driven games to the unique multiplayer product. So we're looking for an experienced, creative, collaborative monetization designer to help us build an incredible player-friendly economy. This position will have the opportunity to be highly innovative and make their mark by developing a best-in-class economy system from the ground up. Here's where it gets worrisome. The responsibilities: design sustainable monetization systems in line with the game's vision, collaborating with key stakeholders, collaborating to ensure the systems are integrated into the core gameplay features. Promote a holistic monetization strategy with the goal of improving retention, increasing in-game revenue, and lifetime value while respecting the player's experience. The fact of the matter is, unless you're talking pure cosmetics, and even then, really, if you're Naughty Dog, like you guys, I'll get back to that, but unless you're talking pure cosmetics, for the most part, I'll give you an exception in a second, those two things simply run counter to each other. They do. If you're going to improve gameplay retention and increase in-game revenue, you're going to be affecting the product. And if the game, let's put it this way, if the game itself, Uno, the card game Uno doesn't need microtransactions. It doesn't need to worry about retention. It's a good game. I don't play it ad nauseum. I play it about 12 times a year. That's enough for me. I wouldn't want to change the game. All I'm saying is don't pretend, if you're applying for this job or you're Naughty Dog, that you're going to solve this problem. This is the equivalent of and again, I don't have a problem with free-to-play. I'm a fan of free-to-play when it's done well. But to present it in this light is sort of a suggestion of we can do both. You can't do both. Where's your foot? Where are you going to hang out? Right? It's the equivalent of going to a movie and every 30 minutes the usher comes down the aisle and says, hey, there's 5 extra scenes you haven't seen yet that make the movie a little better. Would you like to give us another $5? And we'll kind of project, we'll put you in a different theater. I mean, that's a bad example, but it's the same idea of how the experience is affected, right? But even cosmetic, right? This is fascinating. So you saw this, right? So yesterday there was a backlash from the Battlefield players because there was a Father Winter Santa Claus skin that was coming. And a lot of people took them to task and said, this is not the Battlefield we wanted. This is not what we love about Battlefield. This is getting into crazy Fortnite bullshit. What the fuck is this? Go fuck yourself. And today they came out and they said, yeah, we're going to get rid of that. They're taking it out, right? Well, look, I mean, this was unlocked by completing preseason week 3. That is free to play. That is keeping you playing, even though I know it's not a free to play title. That is about player retention. Well, now they got to figure out something else to put here that fits within the theme and isn't wacky and crazy, but it's worth buying or worth grinding for. Well, that's Halo's current problem, is they're very tied to their canon, which they should be. But if you've played Halo Infinite, or if you haven't, the shit for the most part that you unlock is, yes, it's canon, but it's shit. It's like, oh, look, you got a little metal clip to go on your helmet. Who gives a shit? I want a fucking, Halo costume that looks like fucking Spider-Man, right? But I know that breaks, I know that breaks the thing. That breaks the system. That breaks the canon. According to early testers, says Pastor, the Santa outfit in Battlefield was so hated they put it in anyway. Amazing. Battlefield sucks, says Brian, who gives a shit. I don't know. A lot of people, I mean, the portal system in Battlefield's pretty fucking cool. It's pretty fucking cool, I think. The problem with live service games is Battlefield will end up looking like a clown show the longer it lasts. If you're talking about thematically, yeah. Master Chief Santa suit. I would buy a Master Chief Santa suit. But I mean, that's ultimately the thing. Look, the minute, again, Naughty Dog may crack it. They've cracked a lot of things that are absolutely different and they've innovated, and they might do it here. But I would absolutely not put it past those guys if they figure out a way to sort of keep their brand alive and at the same time monetize, right? But I wouldn't, when I play free-to-play games, canon goes out the window. It's sport. I can play the single-player version of Last of Us. I can play the campaign of Halo. But when I'm playing again, I mean, what canon is it in Halo where I'm shooting fellow Spartans? If it's canon, shouldn't I be killing the enemies anyway? Now, maybe they've explained that somewhere. I don't know. But, okay. I want to talk about what Dylan was paying us to talk about, but I agree. This is on the list. I don't have to go searching for this. Check it out. Yesterday, this is about the It Takes Two thing. So, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. And at first I was like, maybe people are being a little, they're knee jerking, right? Which is Take-Two may not be saying we're going after Take-Two, It Takes Two. We're going after Take-Two written like our thing is written or whatever, right? I don't know now, because this is coming out today that Take-Two, meaning the publisher that owns Rockstar and does the 2K games, takes issue with It Takes Two trademarking Takes-Two 2. So Hazelight Studios has abandoned its trademark on the hit co-op game earlier this year. Now, I don't think you should be able to trademark It Takes Two, but let's assume that you can. Hazelight is caught up in a trademark dispute with publisher Take-Two over It Takes Two. Hazelight applied for the trademark in 2020 but abandoned it in March, one day before its launch. A rep told Eurogamer that it can't comment on the matter. Industry analyst Michael Futter of the London Futters said Take-Two's objection may not have a material impact on the game. The trademark conflict he's quoting, or they're quoting him, means that Hazelight can't protect the name, not that they'll be forced to change it. They could change it. So the point is, I don't think they should have been able to trademark it. But I also don't think Take-Two should be able to go after somebody that uses the name It Takes Two. Now again, just because you file a dispute doesn't mean you win. The one thing I learned from being sued when I was absolutely innocent, and Sony was absolutely innocent, is when the head legal guy at Sony pulled me aside when I was annoyed, and I said, this doesn't make sense why we're being sued. We didn't do anything wrong. The guy says, getting sued doesn't mean you did anything wrong. You can sue anybody for anything. So really what this does to me is it just makes Take-Two look, I mean, unless Take-Two wants to come out with the statement that says, look, this is what this is really about. Okay, cool. But they're not just going after that. They're going after people who use the R, going after people who use Rockstar. It's really fucking weird. It's a bad fucking look. And what do you really think you guys make billions in your fucking microtransactions in your fucking video games. You guys really think your brand is being hurt because there's a fucking video game that wants to call itself It Takes Two and they want to... Now, unless they were saying, yes, but if they brand that, we can't call ourselves Take-Two. Okay, that's fair. But then put a fucking statement out. I don't know. See, Matt says it's a desperate move by Take-Two. I don't know that. And this is one of those things where it's kind of like the McDonald's coffee cup when the lady sued McDonald's and everyone forever was like, oh, this is horrible. Society's horrible. But then you watch the documentary about the woman who sued McDonald's for hot coffee scalding her, and you're like, oh, well, shit, now it makes sense. Of course I would sue. But you had to have a documentary. If Take-Two was like, guys, you don't understand, this is what's happening, I would suggest they get out in front of it. But if they don't get out in front of it, then maybe they just really are as petty as it looks. Pastor says, rumor has it that Take-Two got its name after someone took a dump on someone's hopes and dreams. That's right. Have you ever played Catherine? I have not. No, I know what it is, but they also sued a guy doing guitar courses and using Rockstar in his name. I did see that as well, and I think he had something that said like, "Don't be a rock star, be a legend." There was a T-shirt that said that, and they sued that guy. And I don't know if it's because they wrote rock star as one word or rock space star they would also sue for. I don't know. Oh my God, Stefan, get over yourself. Stefan says, your stream is gradually increasing in popularity, but to break out of this level and get into the big leagues, would it not make sense to try something really different? What, like an OnlyFans account? What would you like me to try, sir? What would you like me to try? I'm not even fucking with you. I'm curious. Let me know. If I name my company Takes 5 Minutes, will Hershey come after me because they have a candy named Take 5? I mean, there's no answer to that. Because, again, you can sue anybody for anything, right? So they might. Depends how litigious they are. What I was saying, there was a call we got from Ian from 616 the other day, and he was asking, would Sony be suing for these people who are bringing back these games online, like Home and Calling All Cars and SOCOM and things like that, right? Well, Sony has proven so far that they are not that kind of company. They're not very litigious, and they'll sue if they have to, but they don't, I mean, hell, I sell shit on my channel that has some Sweet Tooth images. If you go to Etsy, Sweet Tooth and Kratos are all over the goddamn thing. And Sony's like, yeah, whatever. But Nintendo will come after you a lot of times. So I think it just depends on the company. This is similar to Hugo Boss trademarking Boss and suing everyone and anything with Boss in the title. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Since it's based on Fragile Marriage, It Takes Two will be renamed It Takes Therapy. Well, that doesn't work, though. Yeah. Oh, look, Sklar. Funny you should mention that. Jaffe should do an alternative Game of the Year award show. Make it honest and small. We did it last year. We're doing it again this year. In fact, I'm reaching out to members of the stream, people at the Cult Calypso level and higher. If you guys want to send me your video of the top, 2 to 4 games of the year, that will be part of the show. We're having design awards for that game, for the game, not just, Game of the Year top 10. So that will be, I don't know if I'm going to do it in December or January, but we will. James Bond, why am I bitter towards Sony? Give me an example of how I'm bitter towards Sony. I'm not at all, but I'd love to know why you think I am. So Stefan says, OnlyFans or employing slightly more patience when interacting. Look, I can't solve that for you. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but here's what you have to understand. Here's what you have to understand. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but the live chats, the live streams, which is what this is not the normal podcast where it's more edited and you have time and, it's meant to be listened to after the fact more. This is as well, but not as much. This isn't, like if I do interviews, I do long form interviews like a lot of people do. And in those cases, I don't even look at the chat until the end. Right? And that is where someone can come and they can espouse and have a serious, deep conversation and all that stuff. But every caller who calls in, let me just make it clear, I'm not being a dick. Every caller who calls in, you are on the hook to be part of the entertainment, right? That you need to entertain the stream. I don't mean you need to be crazy. I just mean that, no one's looking for a college level discourse about monetization in China. Get to the gist, make it fun, make it entertaining, let's move on. Not because I don't respect that you have deep things to say, I'm sure you do. But at that point, I'll book you as a full-time interview. Because this is more, let's just kind of go. I like both, says Encryption, podcast and live stream. Yeah, we will be doing both from now on. And the fun thing about the live stream is I can do them more often because they're not as prepared. And I put the preparation into the main one. Okay, not the main one, the podcast one. Okay. All right, I'm going to go pure chat now. Those are all the topics I got. I don't have a lot more time, but I will go right to the chat. Whatever you guys want to talk about, hit me up. Geoff is hyping we'll see a real glimpse of next-gen games at the award show, says Sklar. Cool. Bane says, Jaffe, when is Kevin Piera coming on the stream? He already said he'd come on. He did. I am going to be booking interviews starting this weekend. I have been very busy the last 2 weeks trying to rejigger the format of Gabbin' and Games, and I think I finally got something I'm happy with for a while. And so now I have bandwidth to get back to doing things like fixing the membership screens because you're seeing no pictures of people up there and stuff like that. I got the ads going again on the podcast. I need to bring them back on this, and that includes getting more interviews. So Kevin is at the top. He's like, I have a list of like 20 people, and there's like 5 that are at the top that I got to call immediately. He's on the top there. So I'm looking for that. James Bond said something. Hang on. God damn it, Jaffe, where'd it go? Sometimes it just goes and I miss it. James Bond says, when did Microsoft buy your soul? Again, maybe you said it and I missed it. Say it again if you would. But why would you suggest I'm not a fan of Sony? I don't understand. Thank you, Eddie C. I appreciate that, buddy. James Bond, if you really think Jaffe's a Microsoft shill, you're a bitter trolling shill, says Gunther. Yeah, absolutely. It's true. I mean, I mean, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm 50 years old. The fuck do I mean, I don't even understand. I don't think you understand how childish you come across when you accuse someone of actually being a shill for a company, right? Because if I got paid, right? I mean, I'll give you an example. I get paid right now by movie games. I will never, as long as I'm getting paid by movie games, say anything bad about those guys because it's bad form. But it just means if there's something they do that I don't agree with, I'll either quit or I just won't talk about it. I mean, if it's really bad, I'll quit. And if it's just like, oh, I didn't like this game, I won't really talk about it. Okay? But other than that, I mean, it's just a childish assumption that that I can only like one flavor of ice cream. It's just kind of fucking stupid, man. I can't do what you do, says Stefan. I respect you, but there's a reason Sam Harris has millions of views, considered important conversation. Yeah, I think the difference, Stefan, is I don't care. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I listen to Sam Harris. I really like Sam Harris's stuff. And if I was going to do an interview show and that's all I was going to do, it would be a very different format. I wouldn't be cutting people off and stuff because it's like the whole show is you're there to listen to the guest. I don't mean this disrespectfully, Stefan, but no one knows who you are. No one tuned into this today to hear Stefan Rowe Griffiths. It doesn't mean one day they won't. It doesn't mean you don't have things to say that are worth tuning into here. But I have to kind of take that into account when I'm deciding whether or not the call is over or not. But hey man, look, if I think Harris is phenomenal. I love his stream. I think or his podcast. I think you're absolutely right, man. Am I going to download the co-op Aliens game? I already have it. I bought it when it came out, and we will be playing it. It's coming to GamePass now, and we will be playing it with the chat. Will there be a few categories for us to vote on in the award show? Yes. In fact, yes, there will. There will. Jaffe, I would love to see you interview Druckmann. I don't think Sony would let Druckmann come onto the show. Sony has made it clear, from what I understand, that no one's really welcome. What do you think of the Cyberpunk situation? Will they ever recover? I think they're already recovering. I think all you have to do is go look at the Steam reviews, and you're like, holy shit, these guys are, they have very positive reviews now. I think just like No Man's Sky. There was a management problem. The game shouldn't have been released when it was. That should have been better handled, but it looks like it's shaping up to be a good game, and I'm looking forward to playing it again, like seriously, when it's on PS5 or Xbox. Adversary 1 says, Jaffe, would you recommend getting a Series S with Game Pass or wait for the X? I did a video. I'll bring you in Professor Goo in a second. I did a video recently about it, and I remember hearing a while ago that they were talking, Phil Spencer said something about there won't be any Xbox Series X exclusive games for 3 or 4 years, which means if you buy an S, you're good for 3 or 4 years. But I may have heard that wrong, because when I looked that up to make it part of my video, I couldn't find that anymore. And so I don't know if I heard that right or wrong, but my answer to you would be this. The X is great. The S I haven't played with, but I hear it's great. If great graphics and performance is a really important thing, then wait. If it's not, then the S is really inexpensive for what it is. They'll probably drop the price in 6 months, but you can probably find an X in 6 months. If you can afford either, I would just keep trying to get an X. It's not impossible. We literally had Spazbo on our Discord 2 days ago going, hey, I've got an X that I can sell brand new. They'll ship it directly to you from Microsoft. So they're out there. But I mean, I've loved my Xbox. I would like to get an S for the other room, actually. But there is a rumor that we're going to hear some news about streaming from Xbox Game Cloud soon, which may indicate that we'll be getting their TV sticks a lot sooner than anticipated, where you can just simply stream it right to your TV. So it really depends, man. It depends what you value. But everyone who has an S tells me it's pretty fucking good. It's pretty fucking good. Cyberpunk is dead. I don't think so, Dylan. I don't think so. I think if you look at what's happening over on Steam, it's kind of looking, it's looking like it might not be. Jaffe, if you can't get any Sony guys on, why not try getting Xbox guys on? I'm talking to some of them. I'm getting more. Here's what I'll tell you. I don't really struggle getting people on the show. Sometimes people will simply say no because they're not allowed, and I move on. So, I'm looking for people that I genuinely want to talk to. Okay? So sometimes they're going to be people from the industry, and sometimes they're not. Like, I keep threatening to bring this woman on. I just have to schedule her. And she's not in games at all. But what she does is she corresponds with serial killers who are on death row. And she has letters and art from people like Ted Bundy. She's got the BTK killer. She's got letters and origami from. So I just want people who are interesting, whether or not, they're from Xbox. But there is an Xbox guy I'm talking to, and hopefully we will have them on. Jaffe, do you have a heads up about any announcements at the Game Awards? Not really, not that I can speak to. I did play Sable. I'm going through these really quick. I did play Sable. I only played the demo when I was bored. It may be exclusives for Series S or X, Stillrin says, because the games are still playing on Xbox One. Yeah, I don't know. When am I going to host a Gavin and Games meet and greet? I don't know. Okay, let me get this call real quick. One sec. Cyberpunk is a PC game. Get over it, says Fupy. I don't understand. Get over what? I mean, it's on all the systems. But okay, Professor Goo. It's Jaffe. What's up, man? Professor Goo. Hello. What's up, man?
Hi. Sorry, I was listening to the live stream.
I don't need to know your life story. What's going on?
Understandable. I had 2 quick questions. Have you heard, seen, or know about Death's Door? Have you heard about that game?
I have it, and I've played it for maybe about 3 or 4 hours.
What do you think about that?
I know a lot of people love it. I didn't get the big deal, honestly. I thought it was fine, but it didn't hold my attention for more than about a day. But a lot of people say it's one of the best games of the year, and I wouldn't suggest they're wrong. I'm just saying, for me, it didn't really light my fire.
Understandable. And you made a clip or like a segment about the Multiverses character list, and then the Multiverses trailer came out. And I don't know if you actually saw the trailer about it.
I did. Yes, I saw the trailer.
Okay. Yeah. Are you? I don't know. Like, are you excited about that? Because I'm pretty excited about it. Because I heard it's crossplay. It's cross-platform.
Yeah.
And
play. Okay. So if you don't know what he's talking about, Multiverses is the Warner Brothers Smash Bros. Clone. That has like Wonder Woman, Superman, Gandalf, some Cartoon Network characters, Who are the other big characters coming to that? At least that they were showing. I think there's some Steven Universe stuff or whatever. I mean, I agree.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry. I think they're doing everything right in the sense that they are making it cross-play. I think it's free to play. You know, it definitely looks like a good swing for the fences. I think those games are obviously, like every game, but certainly when you're talking about multiplayer fighting games, proof is in the pudding. I don't really know who's making it. I've never really heard of them before. So I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but I think if it's even as good as Brawlhalla, which I think is solid and good, it's not Smash Bros, but it's solid and good. I think it absolutely stands a chance, and I will look forward to playing it.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah,
I just gotta say one last thing.
Yeah.
Keep fighting that fight about Bobby Kotick, because fuck that guy, honestly.
Fuck Bobby Kotick up his butthole with a syringe of acid, huh?
Yeah, fuck Bobby Kotick until it's backwards, bro. Straight up.
I love it. All right, man. Thanks for calling.
I can't wait. I can't wait till he gets fired.
He's out. He's out within a year, I bet. All right, man. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Prof.
Right.
There goes good win of the night. Yeah, Harry Potter's in it. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo is in it. Crazed Assassin says it looks very cheap, but at least it's free to play. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing. It the proof will be in the pudding, but we can try it and see what happens. Fupy says, I think CD Projekt Red is a PC developer first and foremost, but the marketing made it appear like it'll look great on consoles. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's going to look good on next-gen consoles, but who the fuck knows? Okay. Gunther says, answer the question. I'll answer the question if I fucking want to. I'll tell you what, Gunther, rewrite your question without being rude, and then I'll answer it. People hating on Bobby Kotick is sick. Oh, God, here goes Bacon. Probably mad they can't be him or be with him. Sure, Bacon Magma, you piece of shit. Yeah, that's exactly right. Dude, have you played RE4 on Quest 2? No, Stefan, I haven't. I almost bought a Quest 2 because RE4. And then I was just like, I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to buy that because my Oculus, I have two Oculus Quest. They're literally collecting dust, literally over in the corner. If the lights were on, I could see it from here. I don't play it. I think it's cool, but but I hear it's great. And Spazbo played it, told me it was great. Okay, so Gunther was not being disrespectful. Okay, fine. I wasn't even caring if you're disrespecting. I was just like, what a rude way to ask. Okay, but you weren't talking to me, so fuck it. I don't care. Okay. What do you think we'll see a Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet levels of games as... Okay, hang on. Sean says, when do you think we will see a Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet levels of games as art that can be taught in schools? We've seen it now, right? If you look at Unpacking, if you look at It Takes Two, believe it or not, if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, just from this year alone, there's a lot more evolution happening in storytelling and thematic and metaphor through gameplay. We saw it in Desperados 3. But I think the problem with it is it has less to do with the games not being that in some cases. Like I interviewed the designer of Desperados 3, which has some of the very best game metaphor as gameplay I've ever experienced in my life. Love that game. Play it if you like games like that. It's wonderful. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm glad you noticed it. I intentionally put that in. You can see that interview. It's here on the channel. The problem is it's not that the games aren't doing it. It's that we as consumers are not really trained to know that it's there. And I don't know if it needs to be more on the nose so people just get it, or if it is more of a cultural thing where, you know, in schools or someone takes up the baton and says, I'm going to start banging this drum, because games are really an amazing, not the cutscenes, I don't mean that, but mechanics and gameplay and interactivity is really an amazing tool to express ideas and tell stories and things like that. So I think the question as to when really has more to do with how do you answer the question why what is already there isn't being discussed, right? That's I think the answer, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a stigma, maybe it's just, you know, I know this is silly, but it may just be, it may be 20, 30, 40 years because generations have to die out, and generations coming up, maybe to them it'll be a no-brainer, like it's probably a no-brainer to you and I. Today, I think it was today, I saw the press secretary at the White House literally use the term anime. And I know people online were like, she said it, the White House said anime. I think it was Gene Park that tweeted that out. But it was true. It's like, when did you ever think you would hear, you know, the White House knowing what the fuck anime was, right? So I do think as we progress, it will get there, but it'll be a while. It'll be a while. Let me bring in my buddy. Let's see what he knows. Let's see what he knows. Okay. All right, you're back. What's up, baby?
Hey man, can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Can the call? Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
I just want to explain why you need to play RE4 on Quest 2.
Okay.
You ready for that?
Go.
So you remember when you played RE4 for the first time? Like I remember you playing it on the stream. You fucking loved it. You were so into it.
Yes, and by the way, I plan on going back and finishing it in February because that's when the mod is coming out that gives everything high-res textures that they say look great.
Okay. Well, anyway, that game is like legendary. It's just an amazing piece of design, just an amazing game in itself. But then they did such an amazing job bringing it to VR for the Quest 2. It was like, I can't imagine how much money Facebook put into that project, but it's amazingly done. And you owe it to yourself to try that out.
So but let me ask you this. So would you okay, so the reason I don't play my normal Quest is that the novelty wore off, and the games that were on it were just kind of like, after the novelty wears off, I'd rather play a flat screen game. Would I go out and buy a $300 Oculus Quest 2 and then another $50, $60 game, and then, like, do you find yourself playing more, or are you done with your Oculus 2?
No, like it's a game that you get sucked into. You know, I think you talked about it before in a previous stream where, you know, you said like if they make like Ghost of Tsushima and then put the VR on top of it.
Yes,
that is going to work, right?
That's what Sony is saying they're doing for the PSVR 2, which actually has me very excited.
That's what they've done with RE4 and Quest 2. It's such an amazing game to begin with, and then the VR element is just amazing. It's just so well done.
So you think it's
both elements.
You think it's worth buying?
Game.
You think it's worth buying the hardware for? You think it's worth buying the hardware for and the game for, even if afterwards?
No question. The hardware and this game on its own, even if you don't buy any other games after this, it's worth it to buy just those two. Yeah, definitely. Right. I'd love to see you play it on the stream.
All right, I will look into getting it.
Say.
All right, man. Thanks.
Awesome.
Appreciate it, man. All right, this is No Rider. I think that's your name. What's up, man? Can't hear you, buddy. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was listening to the video stream at the same time. How you doing, man?
I am doing great. What are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I just, I thought
What are you wearing?
What am I wearing?
Yeah, what are you wearing?
Sweatpants, man. What's going on?
Nothing else. Just the sweatpants. Woohoo! All right. What's up, man? What do you want to talk about?
Nothing, man. Just real quick. I got a chance to play through Artful Escape today. I discovered that on GamePass. I've got that new feature now where you can kind of try the game out via cloud.
Oh, it's great. That was a great feature, right? It's wonderful.
Right. I mean, but the game looks so good. I decided to go ahead and download it after that. I mean, it looks amazing when you actually when you actually download the game. But that game, that game, I'm surprised there weren't more people talking about that game. That game was pretty special.
Yeah, I will be playing it before I figure out my Game of the Year awards. But that's the thing that happens sometimes. That's why I think a lot of these award shows are bullshit, because it'll be like, there are these wonderful games, and it's like, why aren't the critics talking about it? It's like, who the fuck knows why? But anyway, yes, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to play it as well.
All right, the only other thing I wanted to talk to you about as well is I've been thinking about Halo.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about the approach that 343 has taken to kind of compartmentalize the development of this thing, where they've got the multiplayer here and they've got the campaign over here.
Yes.
And, people are still saying the game is incomplete, and, this feature is missing or that feature is missing. And it strikes me that they could never put out a complete Halo game, because when people say they want a complete Halo game, what they want is 20 years of content in a new game with all new features and all new graphics. They want every single mode that's been introduced or even tried for the last 20 years.
Is that what they mean, or do they mean that they want basically just a game that they can buy for $70 that has single player? And okay, you're saying they want basically, because that's what Mortal Kombat does, right? Every time Mortal Kombat comes out, they have to almost put in every character ever. Eventually,
they want invasion. They want playable elites. They want dual wielding. They want every feature. It's not the $70 thing. They want every feature that's ever been tried.
You're never gonna satisfy that kind of person. That's the reason I say you probably shouldn't make SOCOM, because the fans have built it up in their minds, and the fans have such different ideas of what SOCOM is, depending on who you ask, that you can only disappoint them. So, but no.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I think it's good that they've split this up this way. If 343 wants to bring out a new Halo campaign, they can bring out a new Halo campaign, and someone's going to say, "Where's my new firefight, bitch?" And they're going to say, "It's right there." And they can put out a new firefight completely unattached to anything else. They can put out a new Warzone mode or a new Slayer, whatever it is, just completely separate.
Yeah, I think there's definitely value to breaking it up that way, and I haven't had a problem for it of it. I will say I was happy to see today Halo announced that, or at least it was announced. I don't know if this was leaked or they announced it, that they're bringing Fiesta and Slayer and a couple of more game modes back very soon, and they're giving you playlists soon as well. So hopefully all of that is going to be in soon, because I loved playing Fiesta. I thought it was great. But all right, man, thank you for calling. Call back anytime, buddy. There he goes, off into the evening. Stoner Joe, I'll get Stoner Joe in a second. He says, sorry to mention the words ludonarrative dissonance plus other media's formula no longer being copied is the obstacle we have to get past. No more games with movies. AI or Al, I think it's AI. I don't have a problem anymore as much as I used to with games that have the movie stuff, but I absolutely agree with you that that's not the best way to do it. And the games that actually tell story and metaphor through mechanics, that really is the future of the medium, 100%, 100% man. And I think a lot of people just don't understand it. But some people, more and more people are starting to, which is really good to see. Stoner Joe, thank you, buddy. He says, how do you feel if Biden knew of you? Like Joe Biden? I think I would probably only care as much as it would be determined why he knew me. Does he like my work? Does he like the show? Does he want to call me in and say, Jaffe, you've got moxie, pal. Let's bring your progressive views to the administration. We want your advice on how to deal with, Manchin and cinema and McConnell. Sure, then I would care. But that would be the only reason, Stoner Joe. Oh my God. I don't know when the first time I saw. Bacon Magma was. He was walking in the rain on a college campus on the East Coast, and he came up to me and he said, Javi, what do you think about organ donors? Lord Garth says he's been a member for 4 months. Thanks, pal. He says Biden wants to call in about Metroid and say, come on, man. I loved when Biden told Trump, he said, would you shut up, man? That was my favorite. I loved it. Thank you, Lord Garth, for being a member of our little merry band of fucksticks. I appreciate it, buddy. And remember, at the Cult of Calypso level and above, if you want to send me a video of your game of the year, I'll put it on the big show we're doing at the end of the year. I would love to know kind of what you think. Brian, no, RE4 is not on PSVR at the moment. Fellas, that has been... That has been Gabbin' Games for December 3rd. As you continue to come back to the little stream, you will see more and more holiday decorations. And I like how he says, what is this? What is this? Here's the point. Have a great weekend. I'll be making some videos, doing some streams. But for now, this is where we part ways. I appreciate you spending some time with me. And I think we're going to go watch some TV and hang out with the family. So be well. Have a safe weekend. I'll see you on a future stream. Rob the Mod, Rathy, thank you guys for being here. Jojo D, always good to have you back. Heath Nation, great to have you back. All the members, all the super chats, thank you guys very much. And